and all that, right? If you should take out 26 years from their current ages, right? You realize that some of them will either be like teenagers or total toddlers. And then I'm like, some of the things the guy mentioned, like, okay, we need the social amenities, healthcare, and stuff, right? I'm like, those are the things that people who are now in their, let's say, those who are now in their 50s and 60s, if you take 26 years away from their own ages too, right? So they will be like the adults. Somehow, got either controlled, right, by the system to allow children to be fighting for the same thing 26 years later, even in democracy. It's kind of like crazy, though. It's kind of crazy. Because if you take out, for example, now, if you take out 26 years from my own age, then I'm going to be 16, I'll be a teenager. And here we are today, doing the same thing that those who are in their own 30s, right? When they were in, I mean, like those who are in their 30s, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, who are in their 30s, 40s then. And then you see like 30 years later, 35 years later, children who are supposed to be discussing other developmental kind of like issues, ideas, and all that progressive stuff, they are stuck in the 50 years of backwardness. Because we are still here talking about we don't have road, we don't have light, we don't have water. When politician faces you, they are talking about ending poverty year in, year out, right? Government in, government out. They are all fighting the same thing. Poverty, because that's all they fight. You know what I mean? So it's still possible that in the next maybe another 30 years, when many of us will be in our 70s, old, weak, then we'll be watching young people in their own, maybe in their own 20s and 30s, fighting for light, fighting for power, fighting for good roads, fighting for, you know what I mean? It's mental, man. It's not right. Generations have been destroyed, right? And there is more or less like no, seems so like no way out. If you're watching me right now, these are the kind of things you should possibly think about your life. Yeah, is so they've made it so dangerous, right? That life has become so cheap that even your own money can guarantee you anything. Your money can't save you, can't protect you, nothing. Everybody is a fair game, rich, poor. There are those who are not really seeing it that way. You can't build a society like that. I mean, if you come to think of it, mhm, if you sit down and you start juggling the numbers, for example, 20 million out of school children, what are they doing right now? Where are they right now? 20 million out of school. In fact, it's actually 22 million out of school children. It's a failure of government. All government that has ever ruled that country. All of them combined. For you, that you are still struggling to pay the school fees of your children, you are so saddled with that you're so busy trying to at least figure out your own life. And right now, you have no idea that there are 22 million children, school age children, who are currently roaming the streets of Nigeria. You probably never really imagine it and say, where are they right now? What are they doing right now? Who are those who are now kind of exploiting these loopholes while the government continue to promise you end poverty, fight poverty and all that? So I don't know. Random thoughts, a little digression. So let's go back on track. The Obidient who wants a new Nigeria. Because if you have forgotten what they did in 2023, well, you probably will be doing so at your own peril. Because, yeah, call them what you want to call them. There are many of them who strongly believe in this Obi. But is that belief going to win the moment they, kind of like scheme him out? He's not, he's not their presidential candidate. Would that support win? Would everything just evaporate? We don't know. They asked this man, by the way, and he said, well, when it comes to the eastern part of Nigeria, they can put up all these face and all of this, but if Peter Obi should be the candidate of any major party or opposition, they shouldn't think about the eastern part of Nigeria to start with. And many other places where they have the Obidient, he said. Now watch this.
Thank you, Dr. Batty. I want to say that every politician has a reason for his action. I will not attempt to hold brief for any of our politicians in the Southeast who wishes to support the president for a re-election. We in the African Democratic Congress, we want to engage the current president of Nigeria and his party on issues, on their policies, on the efficacy of their execution of their policies and promises to the Nigerian people, and put this side by side with the candidates that we are supporting, former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, and the solutions he's putting on the table for Nigerians to make a choice. As you can see, the declaration of important politicians in the Southeast for the APC is not restricted to the Southeast. It's all over Nigeria. And many of us in this country are wondering what is the attraction for our governors in particular who are leaving their parties for the APC. We don't see the justification in the organization of the party APC. We don't see it in the performance of the central government, which is run by the APC. And people are wondering why we should be drifting to a one-party state, not based on ideology, not based on the performance of that party, but many cases, unexplained reasons, the reasons that have not convinced the Nigerian people or even people in their various states why their governors have moved. But as I said, it is the inalienable right of the governors to move, whether what they tell us are the reasons for their moving or there are other compelling reasons why they moved. Until they say so, we cannot begin to take them up on those. But I can tell you something. In the Southeast, our people have learned to follow their conscience when it comes to voting in a general election. You will recall that in the immediate past election in 2023, Peter Obi single-handedly blazing the trail like John the Baptist crying in the wilderness, was able to convince the Nigerian people that he had something that can change the status quo that we were enjoying under the presidency of Buhari at the time. And many Nigerians believe that at the end of the day, he convinced more Nigerians and scored more votes in that election, but he was not declared the winner. And we have, after the court processes, accepted the results as declared. But what I want to emphasize is that in the Southeast, We had sitting governors who could not deliver their states and who even contested the election to go to the Senate. And they could not win those elections because of the tsunami of the Obidient movement in the Southeast at that time. Today, that tsunami is more likely to sweep more viciously for the simple fact that our people and people all over Nigeria are living in poverty. Okay. Poverty that is increasing in exponential proportion. They're living in hunger.
Okay, Your Excellency.
They're suffering massive unemployment.
Everybody is suffering. There's a reason to save Nigeria, protect the people, and bring about difference. But the thing is this, like many are currently observing too, what strategy would actually dislodge Tifnumbu? This is a question that ordinarily shouldn't be asked. If indeed majority have agreed that Tifnumbu has failed, APC has disappointed and failed, all right? And they should be punished at the polls, all right? So where the election is indeed free, fair, and straightforward. But that is missing. So therefore, the combination of forces, what they are currently planning to do, according to them, is that they are doing combination of forces, the good, the bad, the ugly, forcing them together, and become strong enough to challenge the purported planned rigging of 2027 by Tifnumbu using the state governors. And that's quite very simple. I'll tell you how. So those of you who might be a little bit unsettled when some people begin to put sort of like a stats together on why they believe that with the way Nigeria is, there is no chance of removing Tifnumbu through the ballot box. There is no chance. And the reason is quite simple. With this Tifnumbu having the control of the INEC, the control of the military, the control of the judiciary, and presently, as he's kind of like building it, the control of more than 80% of the states in Nigeria. So how is it going to happen? Because every state in this regard, with the way they have done it, right, will have their own tallies of what their target should be and how much money will be spent. So when it comes to money, they have the control of the central bank as well. Again, if there was a free, fair process of election, people will still be the ones to decide. But it's never going to be free and fair. It's going to be rigging left, right, and center. All of them will rig. And then the best rigger in this regard will probably be declared winner. And in this sense, it is going to be Tifnumbu. Or if they make Peter Obi their candidate, right? What chance does that give them, all the people and all of that? So they are now saying that how ADC manage their supposed winnings, especially for having Obi and Obidient in their midst, the old guards and partially the new guards. So the way they manage it will determine if Tifnumbu's plan is going to be broken or not. But as it stands right now, there's still no chance of dislodging Tifnumbu. But maybe it is too early, or still very much early, right? So let's go back to the east, where the likes of Emeka Ihedioha, former Imo governor, removed for Opo right now. So they have they have their own ADC gathering too. I want to add it to that. So watch this.
These in the states came and told me
that they have joined the ADC. And they promised to come and make bold and be clear about it. I invited them to this stakeholders meeting. I will invite them one by one. First is the chairman of the Labour Party in Imo State, Chief Innocent What David. ADC, ADC, ADC. So today, by the special grace of God, the Labour Party people in Imo State, they have joined ADC. Those remaining in Labour Party now are decorated most of past criminals being sponsored by the government in power. The second group that came to me was leadership of the Obidient movement. But today, they have all gone to Enugu as a collective of the Southeast Zone. So I'm sure they will come back. They saw the state chairman and told him same. But I'm sure they will come back and make their own announcements by themselves publicly. A zonal woman leader of the People's Democratic Party in the Southeast, Chief Mrs. Ihedioha Arodiobu.
I was the zonal woman, Southeast zonal woman leader, PDP. His Excellency called me and said, "You have to come back where you belong." I said, "With due respect, sir, I will be there." After numerous consultations, I said, "Today, there is no going back. That I am with ADC, now through thick and thin." ADC, ADC, come on. ADC, ADC, come on.
Chief Mrs. Ngozi Njoku, former commissioner.
People and for as people, and even our sons and daughters in diaspora. God bless all of us, and I believe we will make it happen.
God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. You're welcome. Ekele Kudo. I want to invite another heavyweight who only this morning joined the African Democratic Congress in Iheme Ward in Idato North. May I invite Chief Paul Mbadiwe, the second son of the late K.O. Mbadiwe, to formally announce his defection to the ADC today.
ADC, ADC, AD&C. I am here today out of personal conviction and following my own ideology. I am here on the plank which stands on the foundation of equity, justice, and fairness. I also stand here today as somebody who believes that it is important to keep the fabric of this nation intact. And I also believe that the leaders of this party who are present here are those who have a listening ear and who care about the people. That is my main concern for joining this party. I want to be close to those that I can speak to and say, my people are suffering, my people require this or that, and they will listen. I know the importance of listening. I once listened to the governor, and I am here to say that I will do all that is necessary and put in time effort and hard work to see the success of this party. Thank you very much.
ADC. You know, there is something I'm also going to call your attention to. They said if you don't participate in politics, your